I think Mike's a perfect example of what we try to do. I mean, Mike was the first branch manager at Ross Mortgage to ever have a loan officer outside of the state that reports to him, in Joe. And it's worked out great. He's opened our eyes, and so has Katie and Mark as well, of just things that we can do in this new technology world that we never would have thought to do. You know what I mean? We just never would have thought to do it. You know, and again, it just opens the doors for so many possibilities.
I mean, you know, technology is something that was kind of forced on us.
100%.
When COVID hit, it was like, hey, figure it out now.
Yeah.
You know, and we embraced it. That's the thing, as mortgage lenders, you know, we've always been behind the 8 ball. And what I mean by saying that, and you obviously know, but like closings, okay? So you show up at a closing and you have 60, 70 documents that you're hand signing, and it's just painful. And you're sitting there like, please don't ask any questions. You know?
We're archaic,
Right.
archaic in that matter.
Right. And they're like, what's this form mean? It's like, I can read you every form with my eyes closed because I've seen them a million times, but here's what it means. But no, I mean, what it did for like the state of Tennessee, you can do Zoom meetings to do Zoom closings. So we pivoted as a company, and we allow for a certain amount of documents to be e-signed.
Yep.
And then the other ones can be done over a Zoom meeting, meaning you have a contactless closing.
Yeah, hybrid closings.
Hybrid closings,
Yep.
So that allowed us to advance. And then even more important than that, instead of jumping in the car and grabbing some donuts and some rate sheets and showing up at the realtor's office and saying, hey, here I am, check me out, I can literally sit there behind a computer desk with no pants on and do a Zoom meeting and train 30 realtors, you know, on cutting edge technology, you know, on things that people are falling behind.
Well, and also the attendance.
Yeah.
So I did a renovation lending. That's kind of my niche outside of VA. And I did a renovation lending Zoom meeting with a real estate company, and I had 32 people on the Zoom.
Right.
I've never had 32 agents in a quote unquote their sales meeting.
Yeah.
I've never had 32 agents in a building.
And they're attentive.
And they're attentive, and they're listening to it, and they understand. And I just think that the technology that was forced upon us with COVID, and how about not only forced upon us, but I mean like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Ross Mortgage had to take a company of 108 people and literally overnight and by the way, we were very, very old school. We didn't have anyone working from home. We had like one person working from home. And we had to take 108 people, and overnight, we work from home now. And it was just the most insane thing. And we were doing these huddles on Teams. Now, luckily for us, we've used Zoom for 2 years. So finally, Ross did something cutting edge on technology before it had to. So we were lucky in that regard. But the how quickly it changed. Then you go from, are we going to be able to survive? Mm-hmm. Like in March, there wasn't a mortgage company that knew if they were going to be around in 90 days. Like it was that scary, right? To we're going to have the largest year we've ever had, not even close.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like every mortgage company had this experience. And I just think, how bizarre. You know, how bizarre 2020 was, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you go from, I went home to my wife and 4 kids and was like, man, I hope I can sell medical sales. You know? I hope I'm a good salesman.
Right.
We'll sell anything, you know? I'll figure it out. Yep. But holy cow, to like, oh my gosh, Jill, we're at 90 days to close a refinance because we have like 400 in the queue, and we're used to having 80. Yep. You know, it's just like, so it is whatever. I keep thinking of that song. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Well, and the crazy thing is, you touched on it, is like, I remember when all this was going down, I'm like, here it is. Here's the crash. This is the crash everyone's been talking about. Because I lived through the crash of 2008, and I know you did too. And it was like, one day you're like, la, 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 everything's great. And the next year you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make my rent payment?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I wasn't a homeowner back then. But and everything collapsed literally in days. You remember the implodometer?
Yep.
You know, you're seeing companies just drop off, and I thought this was the second coming of that.
Get out now.
Right, exactly. You know, but the fact is, you said it before, as a sliver of the economy, we were very blessed. And in that blessing, and I know you and I talked about this offline, and we talked about it briefly in this, in that blessing, as we do more, make more, produce more, we're able to give more.
Yeah, do good by your fortune.
Yep.
Do good by your fortune for sure.